Welcome to the MLB All-Star Break. I don't know if you've noticed that during our live shows as we are in a commercial break if you're watching this on YouTube. But it means it's not too much going on in the Major League Baseball world. And we're getting closer to trade deadline talks, obviously. But it's also time to hand out some midseason awards. In the American League, Jordan Alvarez has been unstoppable. He's carrying the Astros offense and putting together an MVP caliber season. In the NL, it's possible ignore Shohei Ohtani, even though we want to here in San Diego. Even when his hitting alone isn't enough, he adds elite pitching on top of it, and that's why he remains the favorite for the MVP. The biggest disappointment, Vlad Guerrero Jr. struggling after signing a massive contract. Where have we heard that before? And the Mets offseason additions failing to produce. Why do you put that in there, Frank? I don't know. Why do you torture yourself? The biggest surprise have been the breakout stars. Jacob Mizorowski dominating hitters with his historic fastball. Kevin McGonigal looking like a future superstar. Padres closer Mason Miller becoming one of baseball's most unhittable pitchers. Second half is coming. Will the superstars continue to rule baseball, or are we watching the new generation take over? MLB reaches the All-Star break. Time to hand out some hardware of some first half awards, Frank.
Yeah, we'll start off with the American League MVP. Jordan Alvarez has been so good. He has been carrying the Houston Astros lineup and putting together one of the most dominant offensive seasons in baseball, threatening to finish among the league leaders in every major offensive category: runs, hits, homers, RBIs, on base, slugging, OPS. What makes this season even more impressive is the context. The Astros are not the same offensive machine that we saw in previous years. They have so many holes in that lineup, but Alvarez has been the one consistent potential triple crown watch for a guy like Jordan Alvarez at this point.
In the National League, can you give it to anybody besides Ohtani again? I mean,
you could.
At some
Are we
point,
gonna? No.
I mean, he's been better than everybody else. I mean, he could do things pitching and hitting at an elite level that nobody else can do. At some point, baseball may need to create a separate award just for him, because the MVP almost feels impossible when you start factoring everything he does. I mean, obviously, the argument against Ohtani is that he's hitting alone may not be enough this season compared to other candidates. But then again, he's also pitching. And that's what separates him from everybody else, which coincides with why I dislike awards to begin with, because we get to a point where he's just going to win every single year. Pete Crow Armstrong, Kyle Schwarber, they're having tremendous seasons, but they're also not pitching at an elite level. They're just doing one thing. This guy's continued to do two. And if he does one of those things elite, it's usually enough for an MVP award, because you could do two things. You count for two players, and a lot of the rules are set in favor for you, which is kind of why it's a little weird that he's not playing in the All-Star game. I mean, for everything Major League Baseball has done for this guy, separate rule, allowing him to defer money, putting in another rule where he is allowed to pitch and hit. I mean, yeah, you would think he'd show up and take a hack at least at the All-Star game, right?
One would definitely think. One guy who is not taking a hack at the All-Star game because he declined it, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He has been probably the LVP, least valuable player. Right now for Toronto. This might be the most shocking selection of the group. A player who just signed a massive contract, was expected to be the face of the Blue Jays offense, has been struggling badly. His power, much the same way as we saw with another junior this season, his power is gone. His power has completely disappeared. He's not been able to drive the ball consistently in the air. And for a team with postseason expectations, his struggles have been really, really devastating for Toronto, as we just saw here last weekend.
Yeah, the Blue Jays obviously need the superstar of Vlad Guerrero Jr. in the second half if they want to compete, as they're 2.5 games out of a wild card spot as of Monday. The Mets, NL least valuable player is the entire team. This season has not gone according to plan in New York. The Mets have had several major additions in which they expected to build a championship contender, but injuries and underperformance have created a nightmare scenario. Marcus Semien has struggled. Luis Robert Jr. has dealt with injuries. Jorge Polanco has barely been available. Even Freddie Peralta, who is expected to anchor the rotation, has not lived up to expectations. The Mets have entered a year with big expectations, but the first half has been defined by disappointment. But you look at the list of cast of characters. I mean, Marcus Semien is old. Trading for him to try to help your like middle infield was always a head scratching move considering the amount of money that he was owed. Luis Robert Jr. has not been anything close to what he was at the beginning part of his White Sox career and has always dealt with injuries. Jorge Polanco has barely been available in the last couple of years of playing baseball, and there's always a reason why the Brewers trade away high valuable players or big name guys. Freddie Peralta joins another list of Brewers that they didn't mind parting ways with. What is the current status of the New York Mets, Frank, and your fandom of the New York Mets?
To the American League Cy Young,
No response.
first half Cy Young. Let's go with let's try to cheer me up a little bit here. All right,
Yeah,
American first half Cy Young. Oh, it's a Yankee.
Yeah, it's a Yankee.
Of course, it's a Yankee. It's Cam Schlittler. He's been the biggest surprise of the American League. He has been dominant, posting elite numbers while giving the Yankees exactly what they needed out of their starting rotation. The debate is close because Dylan Cease has been outstanding, but Schlittler's combination of ERA, innings, and ability to dominate in big situations gives him the edge, and being completely unbiased, rightfully so.
Jacob Mizorowski is the NL Cy Young. I think it's hard to argue with that, especially with the way Skeens has pitched so far this season. I think Mizorowski is the best, pitcher right now in
It
the
all
National
started off
League.
so good.
I know. Story of the first half on the mound. The fastball is unlike anything we've seen from a starting pitcher. I mean, it's one thing for Mason Miller to do it in the ninth inning. It's another thing for Mizorowski to continue to do it inning in and inning out. I mean, he's overpowering hitters at a historic rate. Strikeout numbers put him in rare company. And the question isn't whether Mizorowski has been great. The question is whether we are watching one of the most dominant pitching seasons of the modern era, which leads us to the rookies making their mark. One that we thought, especially you, because you picked him as newcomer of the year for the American League Central, Kevin McGonigal, off to a great start of his career at 21 years old. He's showing some incredible performances and some great plate discipline that you would usually see only out of veterans.
Yeah, and he's producing more walks and strikeouts, which puts him alongside of some of the more legendary names in history. That kind of profile screams future superstar. And we were fortunate enough to be able to see the first 3 games of his major league career. He looked very, very good at the plate. He settled in even more now. He looked unbelievable on defense, did McGonigal. So not surprised at all that he is as good as he is. National League Rookie of the Year, Foster Griffin, starting pitcher for the Washington Nationals. Maybe the most unexpected rookie story. Debuted years ago, played overseas, and returned to become one of baseball's best rookie pitchers. Would be one of the more unique Rookie of the Year stories in MLB history.
We'll move on to the National League. Foster Griffin, as you said, most unexpected rookie story. It's kind of crazy how long he had not played, or at least has played in Major League Baseball to still be considered a rookie and be part of this conversation for the Nationals that have been, kind of just hanging around. I mean,
they're not last.
They got swept over the weekend by the Yankees. Kind of got the Yankees hot again, but for the Nationals, they're still around, right? We'll see what they do in the second half of the season. But I look at the first half and Padres being right there in the middle of things, 500, 3.5 games back. It's very doable for them to come out of it. But they need to have a little bit more of a sense of them being part of some of these awards than anything else. But anyway, it's the first half look of the Major League Baseball season. Hopefully you're enjoying your All-Star break. Padres will be back in action on Friday.